Every time he misses our wedding anniversary, my husband gives me a supercar as an apology gift. Soon, I will be receiving the 7th one. If you get bored, try out the new car. I'll only be with Hannah for 7 days, so be good and wait for me to come back. I quietly watched the man hurriedly leave, dragging his luggage behind him. In fact, since we got married, he has never attended any of our anniversaries. These rare and expensive luxury cars are filled with evidence of him traveling across mountains, rivers, and seas with his first love. He knows I am gentle and obedient, always making me wait for him. Unfortunately, this time, he didn't know. My plane ticket to go abroad was also 7 days later. Take care of yourself at home, don't worry, I'll be back soon. Ryan was packing, reminding me without even looking up. Do you need me to help you pack? I hesitated for a moment before speaking. Ryan instinctively closed the suitcase. No need. There are some skincare products Hannah uses inside, I'm afraid you'll mess them up. He paused and explained to me, there's nothing else in there. Hannah, Ryan's first love. A sharp pain suddenly struck my chest, and I silently lowered my head. Seeing that I said nothing, Ryan stood up and gently ruffled my hair, speaking softly, I bought you a new car, it's definitely one you'll like. Even though I was used to it, my eyes inexplicably grew moist. I looked up at Ryan, can you spend a day with me? If you get bored, try out the new car. I'm only spending 7 days with Hannah. Be good and wait for me to come back. He cut me off, his eyes filled with an unyielding coldness. I suddenly remembered the first year of our marriage. I was especially looking forward to the anniversary and started preparing 3 months in advance. I asked our mutual friend and flew to Los Angeles 4 times to buy the painting Ryan admired. The night before the anniversary, I was so excited that I couldn't sleep, thinking of giving him a warm surprise. The next day, when everyone had arrived, Ryan did not show up. He casually said he had something to do and that the gift was in the garage, shattering all my expectations. I held back my emotions and greeted my friends, but they looked at me with sympathy and showed me Facebook. Mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas, you and me. Ryan had blocked me. He was standing side by side with a woman on the edge of a cliff. The woman's coquettish laughter and the man's tenderness stabbed sharply into my heart like a dagger. Later, when I broke down and smashed the car, screaming at him hoarsely, he looked at me with that very gaze, she's divorced, I'm just keeping her company to help her unwind. We're just friends, Clara, don't make a scene. That was the first time I realized there was a bright and enchanting moon in Ryan's world. Coming back to my senses, a sharp, intricate pain exploded at the tip of my heart. I forced myself to take deep breaths, trying to appear calm and dignified. Then go ahead, I'll take good care of Leafy. Leafy is a teddy dog. He really doesn't like me, no matter how many treats I buy him, he still keeps his distance. He bit me hard once, almost tearing a tendon. At that time I was so upset that I discussed with Ryan, wanting to send him away while I was recovering. Ryan held the obedient Leafy and looked at me reproachfully, can't you even tolerate a dog? Leafy can't leave me, or else you leave. Later I found out, this was a gift Hannah left for him before going abroad. It's his son. Ryan looked at me in surprise, not expecting me to stay quiet this time. Yeah, I had been making a fuss for 6 years straight. From the initial breakdown where I forbade him from going, to finally begging him to come back. Except for my repeated sadness, nothing changed. Ever since he told me a week ago that he got me a supercar, I knew there would be no change this year either. All his gestures of goodwill were compensations from the one who hurt, guilt from the one who betrayed. They were the daily torment of my cage. Then I'll head off first. Ryan glanced at the time, grabbed his suitcase, and hurried out. At the door, he suddenly stopped, turned around, and looked at me with a serious expression, don't overthink it, I'll definitely be back in a week. Inopportunely, I thought of my plane ticket 7 days later. I smiled faintly and, across the river of time, calmly said to Ryan, who was always absent, have fun. I left the Song family. Before I left, I placed the signed divorce agreement in the most conspicuous spot. Just after putting my luggage in the hotel, my best friend Lily quickly picked me up and laid out a big table full of delicious food and drinks for me. Seeing that I looked calm and my appetite was undiminished, she cautiously asked, "Ryan and Hannah went skiing at Changbai Mountain?" I shook my head. I don't know where he went. Since I found out about their first trip together, Ryan hasn't blocked me anymore over the years. Whenever he and his beloved traveled around, I stubbornly looked at their posts, feeling heartbroken. Now, there's no need to look anymore. Lily looked at me in surprise. "Sister, have you finally come to terms with it, or are you still struggling?" I was somewhat amused and exasperated. "I'm going to divorce him." "Really?" Lily stood up straight, looking at me in shock. I nodded seriously. "Really?" Lily, upon hearing this, immediately bowed to the sky. "You finally woke up, my sister. When he did this the first time, didn't I tell you to get a divorce?" "What did you say?" she sneered with a sarcastic tone. "He said he would love me forever." My sister, how long can a vow last? How much is a man's love worth? You wasted 7 years for nothing. He said he would love me forever. Hearing my own words, it was like seeing the stubborn me back then, who ended up battered and bruised. Suddenly, I thought of the past. Actually, I am just an orphan with no father or mother. Born in a pile of garbage, raised in a welfare home, wild and untamable. When I was 11, the Song family took me home. I changed into the prettiest clothes and was then led to a young boy. Amid the adults crying and stories at the scene, I roughly understood that my parents died saving others. I sneered and was about to say I didn't need their help. The boy beside me pressed down on my head. His voice was very pleasant, like a gentle breeze, like all the beauty I could imagine. "What's there to fear? With me here, just behave and don't cause trouble." I don't know how he knew I wanted to cause trouble. But the way the boy in the daylight looked at me, I remembered for a very long time. And at 17, the boy had an extra wild little sister to take care of. Ryan took good care of me. When I just started middle school, some kids formed gangs and slandered me as a thieving wild child. He took me to the homes of the ringleaders, uncovered the truth, and made everyone apologize to me. I remember the 18-year-old boy pinched my cheek and said, "You fool, got bullied and didn't know to come find your big brother?" Later, I couldn't keep up with the pace, didn't understand the lessons, and often skipped class to play video games. He tirelessly went to the arcade countless times, grabbed me by the collar, and dragged me back home. I remember the person in my memory looking helpless. "What don't you know? I'll teach you." I naturally enjoyed his indulgence and affection, slowly putting away all my sharp edges. At the dawn of love, I naturally fell for him. Until I confessed to him, he was stunned and frowned. After a long silence, he finally said, "I have a girlfriend, Clara." This was the first time I learned of Hannah's existence. This farce began with such a joke. After repeatedly assuring that I was fine, Lily finally let me return to the hotel. What could be wrong? This marriage was a mistake from the start. For some unknown reason back then, Hannah and Ryan had a huge fight, and after breaking up, he went abroad immediately. I drank a lot with Ryan, and fueled by the alcohol, I confessed my feelings to him once again. He stared at me for a long time, then kissed me. The next morning when I woke up, he claimed to be my boyfriend. At the wedding, he held me and his voice was hoarse. "Clara, I will love you forever." I believed him. Until the first anniversary, when Hannah appeared again. Until now. Every night I suffer in pain, growing numb day by day. I always feel that I don't even have the right to hate Ryan. From the age of 11 until adulthood, his family raised me for 7 years, and he truly spoiled me for 7 years. So, I waited for him for 7 years, waiting for him to turn back, waiting for him to forget Hannah. I thought true feelings were hard to express, and that companionship would be a confession. Now it seems, it was all a joke. The phone ringtone suddenly interrupted my thoughts. "Don't you like the car? Xiaozhang told me you didn't go to pick it up." I looked at Ryan and the message he sent me in surprise. In previous years, he never messaged me while he was with Hannah. When I asked him to message me, he would always say, "Hannah was deeply hurt by the divorce back then. Do you want me to show affection with you in front of her and upset her?" It was only then that I realized how much Ryan had been thinking about that one divorce all these years. Maybe because I hadn't replied for a long time, another message came through: "If there's anything you don't like, just tell me. I'll have them modify it for you right away." I stared at that sentence for a while and suddenly remembered the past. My first encounter with racing was actually at a competition Ryan participated in. Their group of young men really looked dashing and spirited. Even the usually calm Ryan smiled unusually proudly after easily winning first place that day. "Ryan, what is your dream for the future?" I asked casually. The boy on the podium slightly lowered his head, and after hearing my words, he thought for a moment. He smiled carelessly and waved recklessly to the crowd below. "I don't know, maybe I want to be a race car driver. I have always liked these thrilling and cool sports." After that day, I fell in love with racing. Later, the race cars I loved were filled with Ryan's betrayal and my pain. Coming back to my senses, I subconsciously tapped the keyboard. "You. I just sent it, then I retracted it. When will you come back?" The message was sent again, but there was no response from the other side. I sneered. I knew very well what to say to make him shut up. In the blink of an eye, it was the last day. I was excited about leaving tomorrow. But I never expected that someone would actually ask to meet me. "What, surprised that we came back early, and Ian didn't tell you?" Hannah stirred her coffee and chuckled lightly. After all these years, it was the first time I saw Ryan's full moon. She didn't look like the obedient girl or gentle first love I had imagined. Hannah lightly applauded me. "I'm the one who didn't let him go back, but I still have to praise you first. Clever move, little sister." She looked at me with a mix of pity and sarcasm. 7 years, and you finally made some progress. It turned out she was here to show off. I smiled indifferently. "So Miss Hannah asked to meet me just to give me a compliment?" Seeing that my emotions remained completely steady, Hannah was clearly taken aback for a moment. Then she smiled gently. "Not exactly. This time I was sick, so Ian brought me back early to take care of me. Being in the hospital is really unpleasant, so..." My heart skipped a beat slightly. Hannah looked at me, her expression half smiling, half serious. "I just wanted to come and apologize to you." My hand, placed subconsciously under the table, touched my lower abdomen. Hannah's words sent a chill all over me. "Around this time last year, you seemed to be alone in the hospital, right?" Hannah said with a smile, pretending to be casual. "I remember it was a miscarriage, very painful, wasn't it, little sister?" The memories I had deliberately tried to forget inevitably surfaced. Last year, on our 6th wedding anniversary, I naturally couldn't stop Ryan from leaving. I couldn't eat or sleep, torturing myself by repeatedly looking at those posts. On the 3rd day, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my stomach. Before I could react, blood was flowing down my thigh. Instinctively, I called Ryan, but there was still no answer. The pain made my consciousness blur. I managed to call emergency services. I remember the coldness wrapping around my whole body, and the pain spreading everywhere. Chest, breast, stomach, lower abdomen. When my consciousness was blurred, I thought I was going to die, but later I woke up in the hospital. They said the child, who never had the chance to be known by the parents, had left just like that. I remember the pitying looks from everyone in the house. I remember that deep sympathy. Because during the surgery, my relatives refused to answer the phone. Until I was discharged, not a single relative of mine showed up. I sent message after message explaining the situation and begging Ryan to come back, but all fell into the void. Only then did I realize that during the days Ryan was traveling with Hannah, he wouldn't care about any trivial matters. Matters of the group, matters of work. Including anything related to me. "We must have found it." Hannah's voice interrupted my thoughts as she handed her phone to me. In the photo, Hannah was sitting on the edge of the cruise ship wearing a sexy bikini. Her feet, painted with beautiful nail polish, rested on Ryan's legs. She stroked Ryan's hair like a queen petting her beloved dog. I quietly looked at Ryan in the photo. The gentleness in his eyes and the meek obedience in his brows and eyes made me feel even more ridiculous. For more than 10 years, Ryan had always considered himself older than me and often acted like an elder. I never knew he had this side. The sunlight was gentle, seagulls flocked around, they were bright and sunny, while I was in unbearable pain. The sadness carried the ache, striking back after a year. For a moment, I still couldn't withstand the burning in my eyes. I clenched my hands under the table, swallowing all my tears to keep from showing any cowardice or sorrow. I slowly looked up at the triumphant woman in front of me. Are you trying to say he loved you more than me? I stood up and gave her a pitying smile. Auntie, if a man truly loves you, he will find a way to marry you. Not let you become a so-called first love full of regrets. I turned around to leave, when Hannah's voice behind me suddenly rose, sounding very sinister. Is that so, little sister? Then just wait nicely tomorrow and see if Ryan, who married you, will actually come back. At noon, Ryan hadn't sent me a message. In previous years at this time, Ryan would have casually sent me a message. It was like a missing person suddenly returning, telling me, I'll be back tonight, don't worry. Or, I'll be home tonight, wait for me obediently. He always liked me to wait obediently. I thought about it and realized it was probably because I had been too compliant all these years, giving him the illusion that I was easy to bully. At 1 in the afternoon, I arrived at the airport, past security, and my phone was still silent. I couldn't help but think of what Hannah said yesterday. I've never been able to hold on to Ryan when he wants to leave. Although over the years Ryan has never broken his promise about when he would return, I didn't doubt at all that if Hannah said it, it would definitely happen. After all, in Ryan's heart, her words and her presence must be worth £1,000. At 2:30, my phone still hadn't received any messages. Ma'am, the plane is about to take off, please turn off your phone. I had just nodded when my phone suddenly vibrated. I instinctively opened it, then stared fixedly at the screen. Lily, the breeze drifts away, freedom is boundless, cheer up, sister. For no reason, my eyes reddened, and I felt like crying. Forget it, I looked out at the glaring sunlight. I never waited for him. And I will never wait for him again. I blocked his contact and turned off my phone. The plane soared through the sky, passing through the clouds, the breeze free, everything clear. Landing on the streets of New York, it was the morning of the 8th day, which was just the afternoon here. People walked back and forth around me, their faces smiling, chatting with their friends beside them. Listening to unfamiliar languages, looking at an unfamiliar city. Suddenly, my heart relaxed, and my whole body felt much lighter. I hadn't left Ryan for more than 10 years, and I always thought he was deeply rooted in my world. But now it seems he was just a passing breeze, hurried in spring, piercing in winter. I opened my phone, and the flood of missed calls stunned me for a moment. Stunned, the phone rang again. I answered, and Ryan's voice sounded anxious and helpless. Clara, where have you gone? I really didn't expect Ryan to call me so many times. But it was just a surprise. I took a deep breath, the clear air was refreshing. You're home? Right, Clara, did you go out to play? Ryan's voice was cautious, probing, so when will you be back? I was slightly stunned. After so many years, the first time Ryan spoke to me with this kind of attitude was at a moment like this. It turns out he also knows so clearly what will please me and soften my heart. It's just that he has never been willing to do so. And opportunely, I recalled the photo Hannah showed me. After living together for so many years, I still can't touch Hannah's dog, nor can I touch Ryan's hair. It's not that I'm not good enough or sincere enough. It's just that their hearts have never leaned toward me. Hannah is the beloved in their hearts, the light in their world. So they do their utmost to please her and make her happy. Now, I don't understand Ryan's sudden kindness, nor do I want to understand it anymore. Ryan. I called him with a light laugh, just like the first time I called his name back then, so carefree. Have you seen the divorce agreement? In a month, we'll go get our marriage certificate. I don't agree. Wherever you are, Clara, I'll come find you and make things clear. Ryan's panicked voice was tinged with agitation, as if there was some unspeakable secret. He repeated resolutely, I don't agree to divorce. I suddenly found it so funny. If you don't agree, then we'll go to court. I have evidence of your affair. Do you want everyone to know? Ryan fell silent, like a deflated balloon. Through the phone, I couldn't see his expression, only hear the choking in his voice. Even if we divorce, I am still your guardian. Wherever you go, you can at least tell me, right? I really couldn't help but laugh out loud. In the distance, it seemed a young boy's shadow suddenly appeared. He raised an eyebrow slightly, looking at the girl before him. Clara, I am your guardian. What's wrong with me attending a parent-teacher meeting? The voices in those memories gradually grew faint. Clara, if you deliberately cause trouble and report my name again next time, I'll make you understand what it means to have a guardian. I watched them leave little by little, my voice carrying a smile, carefree like a gentle breeze. Ryan, I'm already so old, I haven't had a guardian for a long time. Now, I don't need you anymore. You raised me for 7 years, I let you mess with me and hurt me for 7 years. We're even now, no more ties between us. Clara, I heard you're going back to your country? As soon as I heard that, several heads nearby gathered around. I took off my helmet, looking at the few boys in front of me with a mix of amusement and disbelief. I'd been by Ryan's side for so long. I've almost forgotten how carefree I used to be. The energy I spent on Ryan was the most frustrating time of my life. Not pretending to be a good girl feels really good. During this time, I mingled in the racing circle and met many younger boys who had just come of age. Suddenly, I somewhat understood why Lily kept telling me to dump Ryan and try meeting fresh new boys. Actually, on the first day I came here, after hanging up on Ryan, I blocked him. During this time, he would occasionally contact me from different numbers. At first, he asked me to come back, saying he wouldn't get a divorce. Later, he finally compromised, asking me to come back and meet him once, promising he would get the marriage certificate on time. I promised him I would return a day early to meet, but this group of boys overheard it. One boy with flaxen hair took the helmet from my hands, quite happily probing, "Is it true, big sister?" "It's true." I nodded, sat down, and casually opened a can of beer. Upon hearing my confirmation, the surrounding murmurs grew. The boys led by the flaxen-haired one instinctively looked toward a spot not far away. I raised an eyebrow and followed their gaze. The boy was leaning against the wall, his silver-gray hair giving him a somewhat world-weary look. The collar of his black jacket was turned up, hiding his face, and he had an almost lifeless, exhausted air about him. Clara, the flaxen-haired boy lowered his voice and whispered to me, "Have you told Liam?" I shook my head truthfully. "Then you're done for, Liam is angry." The flaxen-haired boy gave me a sympathetic look, then quietly slipped away to the side. Liam was the leader of their group of boys and also the most skilled. It was by chance that I got to know them. I smiled and called out loudly in that direction, "Liam." The boy twitched slightly but didn't turn around. "Come here." As soon as the words fell, a slow "oh" came from that side. The next second, someone sat down beside me. "Sister, are you going to leave me behind?" Liam looked up, his hair hanging down to his brow, his beautiful eyes staring at me like a heartbroken puppy. I held back a laugh and said nothing. "I guess there must be a sister back home who cares about you, so you're going. As for me, I guess I can't hold back your steps." Liam lowered his head in disappointment. I really couldn't help but laugh out loud. I had already noticed, he is a green tea. I'm going back to the country to get the divorce certificate. I propped my chin up and looked at him with a smile. "If we don't divorce, I can't let go and play with my brother." Liam suddenly lifted his head and stared straight at me. I raised my hand, and he obediently lowered his head, letting me stroke his soft hair. "The sooner it's done, the sooner you'll find peace." I returned to the country the afternoon before getting the divorce certificate. As promised, I met Ryan. I was surprised to see the man in front of me looking a bit haggard. The stubble on his chin looked freshly shaved, and the bluish tint under his eyes made him look less spirited. I suddenly realized that Ryan seemed to be quite a bit older. I reflected on my own taste over the years. Ryan stared at me intently, Liam by my side. There was no way to avoid it, he insisted on coming. "Clara, who is he?" I followed his gaze and looked at Liam's porcelain white, jade-like cheek. Youth is truly a blessing. When I met Liam's eyes, I was suddenly startled and remembered the important matter. "This probably has nothing to do with you." Ryan's face turned extremely ugly. We're not divorced yet, Clara. That's exactly why I came back. I looked at Ryan, feeling that he was somewhat inexplicable. I asked you to explain something today. Are you sure you want to have such an outsider present to listen? Ryan emphasized the words outsider heavily. Looking at Ryan's frowning and angry expression, I suddenly almost forgot the image of the boy I remembered. Ryan, I don't know what you have to explain, and I don't want to hear it. I looked at him calmly. The only reason I agreed to meet you is because you agreed to go with me tomorrow to get the marriage certificate. Ryan's face turned pale, and the broken look in his eyes seemed especially sad. I'm sorry, Clara. I didn't mean to come back late. I actually came back on the 5th day wanting to be with you. But Hannah was sick, and I really couldn't leave, so I ended up coming back late. I never thought about not coming back. If I promised you, I wouldn't. Ryan. I interrupted his broken and hurried words. Don't you find it funny? We've known each other for 15 years. You know I love the wilderness, the grasslands. You know I love the sea, the mountains, everything free, places like the wind. Tell me, have you ever taken me to any of those places even once? Obviously, he hadn't. But he had taken Hannah. They traveled across mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas, embodying a romance that was unwavering until death. I smiled softly, watching Ryan freeze, the corners of his eyes gradually reddening. You know I love freedom, yet in the name of love, you trapped me in one place for 7 whole years. I, Clara, am not a toy for you and Hannah's love. He choked up, tears falling. I'm sorry, Clara, I was the one who did wrong. I didn't know if those tears were the regret and bitterness that the elder spoke of. But I was calm, long past the resentment and pain of before. I will never forgive you, I will always remember all the harm. But it's been exactly 7 years, Ryan. I've repaid the debt of raising you, so we're even. From now on, your absurdity has nothing to do with me. The moment I got the divorce certificate, the heavy weight on my heart finally settled. I was actually quite worried that Ryan would stubbornly refuse to divorce. With the Song family's capabilities, if I were to go to court, it would definitely drag on for a long time. So compared to Ryan's despondency, I truly feel refreshed and clear-headed. The moment I stepped out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, a gentle breeze brushed my face, lifting the ends of my hair. Clara. Ryan seemed to have made up his mind, looking at me deeply. Can we start over? Please, get to know me again, okay? No, Uncle, Liam's voice came, interrupting my awkward moment. Ryan's face darkened, he gritted his teeth, looked Liam up and down, and blurted out, Are you an adult? Liam gave him a tired glance, then looked past me, who was trying not to laugh. He sighed. I'm exactly 18 this year, Uncle, and I recognize you. I looked at Liam in surprise, and Ryan furrowed his brows, studying Liam's face carefully. Liam spoke slowly. When my dad was 22, on a whim, he learned racing for half a year and entered a competition, losing to you, who was only 19. At that time, he cursed you to be successful on the battlefield but unlucky in love. I suddenly realized, it was that racing competition from back then. He printed out your photo and showed it to me every day, telling me to grow up and steal your wife. Liam raised his eyebrows, looking particularly innocent. Looks like he really did speak a prophecy, huh, Uncle? Ryan's face stiffened, his complexion turning ashen, but he found it hard to argue with a youngster. The boy was holding a beautiful bouquet of flowers and walked towards me. I took the flowers, Lily of the Valley. Yes, sister, Lily of the Valley, it means a new life, a new beginning. Liam smiled, May you always be free and brave in the days to come, blessings to you, sister. Ryan stared blankly at the scene before him, suddenly recalling some old memories. Is this a bluebell? The boy watched the little girl fiddling with the flower branch and asked curiously. The little girl shook her head, This is Lily of the Valley, its flower language means a new life, a new beginning. She tilted her face up, it was just when she had arrived at the Song family. Her chin was still sharp, making her eyes look especially large. Ryan. Lily of the Valley will bring happiness. Ryan, coming back to his senses, felt his eyes burn. The belated pain was like a knife, stabbing fiercely into his heart. He turned away in a mess, blocking the tears that fell one after another. The person behind was holding flowers, preparing to leave with the young man. Ryan hurriedly wiped his tears and instinctively called out, "Clara." I paused for a moment, neither stopping nor looking back. Liam beside me slowly relaxed his tense muscles and lazily leaned on my shoulder. After I pushed him away, he clicked his tongue softly. Then he raised his hand and waved it behind him. "Uncle, we'll never meet again." After the divorce, I actually received a large sum of property. No exaggeration, I probably won't be able to spend it all in this lifetime. So Liam and I started wandering all over the world, living wildly like crazy. The towering Mount Everest is pure and sacred, the mysterious Aurora is dreamy and elegant. The snowy trails of Changbai Mountain are full of passion and fervor. The grasslands of Inner Mongolia stretch endlessly. I somewhat understand why Hannah loves traveling so much. So when I received a call from Hannah, I clearly realized I couldn't speak ill of others behind their backs. "Clara, you really are something." Hannah's voice was tired and full of resentment. "It was because of you that Ryan broke up with me back then. I even gave him to you, but just because I take 7 days from you every year, you can't tolerate that, can you?" I frowned. "What does this have to do with me, Hannah? Are you crazy?" Hannah laughed on the other end of the phone. "Back then, when Ryan wanted to get engaged to me, I told him I would agree only if he sent you away." "Clara, oh Clara, at that time I really thought I meant that much to Ryan. But as soon as he heard that, he flipped out and said he would never send you away in his life. I got angry too, so I stubbornly made him choose between us. When he didn't choose, I got upset and ran off abroad. I thought he would come after me, but unexpectedly, he just accepted the breakup." I silently listened to her tell that unknown past. Back then, I couldn't compare to you, and I held a grudge inside. I never expected that when I returned to the country again, I could make up a story and repeatedly trick him away from you. I naively thought I was the one he loved, but the moment he saw a message, he anxiously went back to find you. Hannah laughed self-mockingly and let out a long sigh. "You win, Clara." "So?" I said calmly, "What does it have to do with me?" Hannah hesitated for a moment. "All these years, it was me causing trouble. Actually, Ryan has always liked you. Won't you give him another chance? If not you, there will be someone else." He allowed himself to cross the line, indulging in novelty and excitement. "He's rotten." As I finished speaking, I heard Hannah's sharp voice from the other side. "Did you hear that? She's the one who won't forgive you, you're the one who's rotten. Clara, it's me who doesn't deserve you, I'm sorry." Amid the noisy voices, Ryan's choked voice was filled with endless regret and pain. I don't know what argument they had, or what dispute arose. I don't want to know either. Nor do I need his belated repentance at some distant, uncertain time. So I just hung up the phone. "Sister, old people and old matters are complicated and hard to forget," Liam suddenly said, startling me. I turned and met his plaintive gaze. "Sister, when are you going to give me an identity?" I paused and looked at Liam seriously. He instinctively lowered his eyes, avoiding my gaze. "Liam, do you remember what I said the first time you confessed to me?" Liam hesitated for a moment, then reluctantly spoke. "I remember." I smiled. Kids are always restless at that age. I mean, it's hard for me to invest in new feelings in a short time, so if you want to play around with me, I can keep you company. But if you want me to immediately clear my heart and start a new relationship. Before I finished speaking, the little dog in front of me wilted completely. His silver gray hair drooped, and he looked utterly listless and lifeless. I laughed angrily, paused, and said, "Then you still need to give me some time." The little dog suddenly lifted his head, his eyes shining brightly, carrying the youthful pride of a young man. I looked at the boundless grassland before me. The gentle breeze was indescribable, the swaying grass on the vast plain was like a poem it had written.